Ma'am, Laura is back, and we're talking about Isaac and not a greatly developed center, and therein lies the key. Where's the center? Where's it going?
That's a problem. And also later today, NOAA is going to send out a plane. Normally they send out the hurricane hunters to actually sample inside the storm. This time they're going to sample the environment all around the storm to see what we're dealing with. Highs, lows, ridges, that sort of thing that may actually steer Isaac in the future. So lots of information coming out from the National Hurricane Center today. All of that going to be ingested into the models. That will give us a better idea of the future of Isaac. But this morning we still are tracking, as Mike said, kind of a weak system. Weak as in it's not fully developed as far as tropical storms go. They certainly can look a lot better than this. We're having some trouble finding the center at times. It looks like they're kind of forming little centers. And so what the National Hurricane Center did this morning, they kind of took a fix of a couple of centers and said, okay, we'll kind of go with a general area. And that's one thing, is we actually get a well-defined center, hopefully sometime today or tomorrow. That should give us some better information as well within the center. Now, I want to show you a couple of models. I'm telling you this now. I don't normally like to pick out individual models because what do we always say? We like the consensus. We look at where most of the models are kind of headed. But I know a lot of folks do like to see the Euro model. It is one of the stronger models, although with that being said, it has performed fairly poorly with previous tropical systems this year. Now, one thing to watch as we go over the course of the weekend will be where the system emerges from Cuba. We're expecting it to cross over that nation. Will it be a little farther to the east or a little farther to the west? The farther west it goes, the more likely the northern Gulf Coast will be impacted. Now, I do want to say the Euro has consistently with this storm been the far western outlier. It has also shifted a little farther off toward the east, showing maybe an Alabama-Florida strike at this point sometime Wednesday of next week. We're talking about 6 days away. That's just one. Now let's talk about the GFS. Again, as it crosses Cuba, this one just a little farther to the east. This one will impact areas like the Florida Keys. Watch as it scrapes along the western coast of Florida and then moves up around the Big Bend areas, maybe just to the west of there. The GFS has actually been performing pretty well so far this year with tropical systems. Does that mean this is dead set where it's going to go? Not necessarily. Again, that's why we look at the consensus. And here are most of the spaghetti models together, taking it across Haiti, most take it across the eastern part of Cuba. Why is that interesting? Well, remember, the farther east it goes over Cuba, the farther east it will be here across Florida. So that's why most models show a Florida strike, whether it's along the western coast or maybe up toward the Florida Panhandle. That's where the consensus is this morning. Now remember, I keep saying things can change because we're still trying to get that center fix, a good idea of this developing storm. Now, as far as the forecast today, if you're just dashing out the door, I do want you to know it's going to be fairly quiet. Highs about 90 this afternoon and a 20% chance for rain today. Very similar to yesterday, and we'll keep that forecast going all the way through the weekend.